Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back, or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos or on my live feeds, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Well, we made it through another week, and I chuckle at that because it has been a week for many people. It has been a week of learning. It has been a week of emotions. It has been a week of processing things. It has been a week, and one thing that Spirit talked to me about today was allowing and resistance. Two big words when it comes to our spiritual growth came up in my meditation today. So I'm very excited to be here and share that with you. I hope that those of you who have been experiencing that emotional release this week have. Been soft and gentle on yourself, that you've allowed yourself to kind of feel and process. Good morning. Good to see everybody coming in. Great to see you. Hello. I'm wonderful today, Kayla. It has been a great week for me with learning and with students and with sessions. I'm just filled with so much gratitude. The lives this week here on YouTube have been fantastic as always. But I'm talking today a little bit about we talked about processing those emotions and how this week has been a big emotional week for a lot of you. And one thing that came up in my meditation today was, the growth that's in the end of that, and allowing that and giving ourselves that space. The weekend energy feels a little bit of tiredness. There's a little bit of tiredness coming in, and it's that healing, right? If you've been doing a lot of releasing, it can be quite exhausting energetically. And this weekend, we're kind of being asked to kind of take our time, let ourselves recharge, but kind of lean into what am I allowing, and giving yourself that chance to shift a little bit, sometimes with resistance. And I think we've all been there. I talked about it on Wednesday with the kicking and screaming temper tantrums. Heck, we go into our growth kicking and screaming sometimes. And it's growth is hard, learning is hard, but one thing that really helps navigate through a lot of that resistance is the allowing process, and being able to take a little bit of time to reflect, a little bit of time to acknowledge what we've learned. And and those learning lessons for many of us are tough ones. I mean, this is the toughest school here in the physical world. It is a tough classroom here. And being able to soften that and give yourself a chance to look at things differently, to be able to say, okay, what am I learning here? I need to let go of a few things. I'm processing the feelings, and being able to give yourself permission is another big one, is giving ourselves permission to be able to crack open and to learn things from a different perspective, and changing our lenses, and allowing that space. We don't give ourselves enough space to grow, and if you feel like you're in a tight space quite often, or when you feel like things are closing in, that's a great time to allow that open, to allow ourselves to open. And one thing that I'll often ask myself, or Spirit will even ask me quite a bit, is, are you allowing yourself to have a different perspective on it? Are you allowing yourself to look at something a little bit different? Yes, I'm feeling this way. I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm going to process it. I'm going to give myself permission, and I'm going to allow myself to look at it a little bit differently. What am I learning here? And that kind of softens, the process a little bit with what we're going through. Yes, it's tough. Yes, I'm feeling this way, but is there something that I'm missing? Is there a repeat lesson? Do I have to look at this a little bit differently? Other people are a big part of our learning. So is it mine or not mine? And I think that's a big one. Is this mine or is this not mine? Is it mine or is it not mine? And that is huge, because we do carry a lot that's not even ours to carry, even energetically. And let's just say, for example, you're around someone that's going through some heavy stuff, and then you yourself start to feel really heavy. You've absorbed something that's not yours. So giving yourself a chance to kind of process and let go, and process and let go, and process and let go, and being able to take that different perspective. I will also ask myself, how does Spirit see this? If I'm being really hard on myself, I will simply say, okay, I'm going to sit for a minute. How does Spirit see this? What would Spirit tell me? Right. And then allowing those words to come, allowing that energy to come, allowing that. And sometimes when we take a different look at it, or when we ask Spirit, how, like, what's going on here? Sometimes we're either in the way of our own learning, we're in the way of our own processes, or we're in the way of other people's learning. I just got to kind of step aside here. I'll love you from right here, right? But I've got to pull myself out of that energy a little bit and be able to shift in how I'm looking at it. And sometimes, let's be brutally honest and a little bit humble, and being able to acknowledge that sometimes we are not looking at it from a different perspective, and the universe is trying to teach us something. Sometimes we're in the way, or we're the one that's not necessarily opening to allow that lesson to shift us a little bit, right? We get into that resistance, and there's a few reasons why. Is number one, we do not like to admit that we need to change something about ourselves. Big sentence. Big sentence, right? And I chuckle because I've had to lean into that myself many times over the years and recently. I've had to lean into, where am I in all this? Am I resisting it because I don't want to acknowledge that I need to change something? Or even if it's just to change my thoughts on it, just to take a different perspective on it. Am I doing that to myself, right? To be able to lean in there. And sometimes the answer is, yeah, Lana, you are. You need to grow through that, and you need to kind of shift how you're looking at yourself or the situation. And sometimes you get that feeling, no, I'm okay, I'm in alignment with it, I'm growing forward with it, I'm making the changes. And learning to have that patience with ourselves is a huge part of all that, right? Like we tend to not be very patient with ourselves. The other thing that really came up is, from spirit, is watch for repeat advice and repeat guidance, and that guidance can sometimes come from other people. So let's just say, for an example, there's a scenario in my life, and people keep telling me the same thing, or I have a dream that's relevant to it. That can be very much a message from spirit, becoming from other people with, hey, listen up, like maybe you need to change how you're looking at that, or perhaps you just need to sit with it. If you're getting the same advice or the same information, sit with it and feel into it. I always take everything that comes to me with a sit down. I'm going to sit down and feel this. I'm going to sit down and work on this, because it also helps with that knee jerk reaction. It helps because we do have that instant reflex, right? I'll call it that energetic reflex or that spiritual reflex, and it's usually a defense mechanism. We usually become very defensive because of that need to protect. I got to protect myself, protect myself, protect myself. And sometimes, yes, we do need to kind of keep ourselves protected in love and light, but there's a difference between protecting yourself and pinching yourself off or being closed. Right. And that's a very, very different thing. So when you think about that for a moment, if you're closed minded on hearing different perspectives, or even just hearing spirit, if you close yourself off, that's not necessarily protection. That's pinching yourself off. I'm going to surround myself with love and light, and I'm going to feel and listen and being a little bit open. It doesn't have to resonate with me, but I'm going to give myself a chance to hear or listen to the perspective, rather it be somebody else's perspective, rather it just be an energetic perspective. Even with spirit, I've sat down with spirit, I can't tell you how many times, probably thousands of times, where I've sat there very open to receive, and what I receive, I'm like, well, damn it, that's not what I wanted to hear. And then, and then we become very guarded, very defensive. We kind of get into that mode of, I don't want to use the word not listening, but it's exactly that we're not doing. We're not sitting with that possibility of, maybe I just need to change how I'm looking a little bit, or soften a little bit, or just listen. And sometimes spirit has said to me, sit down, be quiet, and just listen to us. It doesn't mean I have to take it. I have choice and free will, but just to be able to quiet and listen. We struggle with that. We struggle here in the physical world with guidance, whether in even with spirit. I mean, I'm sure I'm very honest and open with my own learning. I have sat with spirit and crossed my arms with, no, I don't want to. And I have that choice, right? Or we close off other people's suggestions. We're not, you can listen without necessarily picking it up or taking it if it doesn't resonate with you. But giving yourself that open-mindedness without blocking or closing is very important, especially when you're going through some repeat lessons. It's huge. If you're seeing a lot of repeat lessons, whether it be similar situations with different players, different people, but the same learning, or you seem to be on repeat, this is coming up again, this is coming up again, this is coming up again, maybe I'm not listening. And spirit is saying, Now that we've worked through a lot of the emotions this week, a lot of emotions. If you didn't feel it yourself, you've probably seen it with other people, struggling with their emotions or just having a little outbursts. Now that we've worked through some of that, and I think we're always working through some of that, but just sit down now and allow yourself to feel and allow yourself to listen and hear. Maybe there is something that I just need to shift. Maybe I'm not as open as I thought as I thought that I was. Maybe I just need to kind of like spend a little bit more time sitting down with how I'm feeling. Maybe I just take that time this weekend. The energy is coming in a little bit slow this weekend, a little bit. Let's just rest. Let's not worry. Let's just grab a cup of tea and a book. Let's just snuggle up with a blanket. Let's just be comfortable and allow ourselves to kind of process and have another look, right? And have another look. I hope that is some guidance that some of you may find validating or helpful. Sit with it, and that's one of the things I always say on the channel. And that's why I say if it doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. Have a listen. If you feel like it's helpful for you, great. If not, great as well. And you see that there's just that allowing in that space of it's okay if it doesn't, but sit down and have a listen, right? And it's the same thing with other people. And sometimes other people, that's all that they really need from us anyway, is to just kind of sit there, zip it, open ears, open heart. I'm just going to listen. So, give yourself that space, even with yourself or with people that are around you. Just go with it this weekend. Take that slow down energy. Take a little bit of time for reflection. Take a little bit of time to acknowledge yourself and enjoy. Enjoy that. We know we're always so fixated on busy. We're always so fixated on on what's wrong. Slow down. Slow down. Have a feel. Have a listen. Have a chill out. Right? And spirit is on my back all the time with Atlanta. It's time to just chill out. It's okay. All right, let's scroll up. I don't have a lot of time today, you guys. I do have in-person sessions, and we are getting some snow here in Southern Ontario. I'm in Kitchener, and there's a prediction of a lovely amount of snow that won't linger too long because it's going to warm up. So I am going to enjoy the last blast, maybe the last blast of nature's artwork on the trees and nature's artwork on the ground. All right, look at you all coming in. I have felt so good the past few days, different in good ways. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Absolutely, Shaz. Absolutely. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, at the end of the learning. Everything is always working out for you. Kayla, I was just talking about different perspectives yesterday. Wow, chills. Yeah, it's the energy that's moving in. So it's enjoy it, Kayla. Enjoy that energy. Yesterday was my rough day. Hoping to get a call from my youngest son tomorrow. Holding you in love and light, Spring. Holding you in love and light. Kayla, that's crazy because today I acknowledge that we are in control of our feelings and can choose to look at them from another perspective. Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes, and here's one thing I just want to add to that, Shaz. Sometimes the other perspective, we always want to know why is this happening to me? Why am I learning this? Why, we kind of lean in there and there's never, no, so I wouldn't say never. Sometimes there's not an answer to the why, and sometimes it just is, and I'm learning this right now, right? Because we always want to know why. It sometimes it just is. I'm learning this right now. I'm learning this right now. I'm learning this right now. And I will often repeat that for myself as well. Lana, you're validating everything that I have felt lately. Thank you. Thank you as always. Much love. And it's all them. It's all spirit. This has very little to do with me. Yes, I am open. Yes, I work with spirit, but I just relay. I just tune in. I just report to what they're telling me about. Because spirit wants to help us. Spirit wants us to be, to build communities, to be together, to help one another, and they're always here helping and guiding. Um, he's in the PCP at the Marine boot camp. Spring, we're going to send a lot of energy with strength in holding him in that space and just trusting that he's learning his own processes right now. I know I've said this to you before. I feel like he's in the right place for the learning that he's doing in this moment on his journey. Peyton, I've been asking Spirit why my workplace has been giving me more responsibilities and I haven't gotten a clear answer. Can you feel in? Peyton, a few reasons why. Number one, I feel and I don't know what you do. If you've told me, I don't remember. My apologies on that. But a few things are going on there. Number one, I feel like you do such a great job there that handing you more and more and more. You've always done really well at balancing and handling that. But I think that the limitation volume is a little bit turned down. I don't think that they know where the limitation button is. If you can, so and I can see it like a juggling. So just visualize yourself juggling, and somebody else throws you another ball into your juggling act. Okay, so you're juggling three balls. Somebody throws in a fourth ball. Then they throw in a fifth ball and you keep juggling. Then they throw in a sixth ball and you keep juggling. And I feel that, until the balls drop, they're going to continue to toss you a ball. So I feel like I've got to, before the balls drop, I feel like I've got to, when you feel like you're juggling as many balls as you possibly can before anybody, and I feel this isn't just work related, Peyton. I feel like this may be a little bit of something that comes up for you often, that you'll keep juggling it until you can't no more, and then all the balls come crashing down at once. And so just kind of reflect for a moment outside of work as well, Peyton. Do you tend to have everything come crashing down at once, not just one ball, but it's like all the balls come down at once? So it's like everything kind of falls apart at once. Is there a pattern with that, Peyton? Because that's how they're showing it to me. I think with work, and I do feel that there's an understanding on the other side, like from your boss or from management. I do feel that they're open to hearing. I have enough balls to juggle with right now. I just need to get caught up on this before you toss me another one. But I don't feel it as an intentional or a bad way towards you. I feel it's because Peyton can juggle. And that's a gift, Peyton. That's a gift. To be able to juggle all those balls, that is a gift. But on the other side of that gift, there's the I take on too many ball aspect. That's how they're showing it to me, Peyton. And they're very, very visual with it. I can literally see you with your juggling act going on. Let's see where we're going here. We've been praying for him to get through the delay. Sometimes, Spring, trusting the pause, and we've probably talked about this before. I know I talk about it with my students. Trusting the pause on something where we're doing, something's taking a little longer, or it's not coming in fast enough, or we have to repeat something, whether it be a class or a workshop, or in this case with the Marine. I feel like I've got to trust the pause. Quite often, when there's a pause, that can be for so many reasons. It can be for safety. Think about all the times you've been stuck in traffic. And have you ever gotten through that traffic and just realized a few moments ahead of you, there may have been an accident or a situation, or you might not even have a knowing, you don't see anything. But there can be a very big reason for pauses, right? Especially when we're asking for protection and we're asking for guidance and we're asking for our highest good. We also trust for that pause. And one thing I'll say here, Spring, is if I was to say to you, okay, we can move him through faster, but at the end of that fast pace of making it through what he's going through, there's going to be an issue. But if there's a pause, there's not going to be that issue. You would take the pause, right? I always say trust the pause. We're always where we're supposed to be, and I've got to just trust that pause. As hard as it is, and watching somebody struggle and watching them kind of deflate a little bit, I just got to trust the pause on this one. There's a big reason for it. And I just have to say, okay, thank you for the pause. I don't understand it. We're frustrated down here, but I just want to trust that pause. And I have learned that through many experiences, and I'm sure many of you have as well. Is when you push against that timing, we push into something that's not quite ready for us. There's usually a gong show at the end of it. Right. And then we say, well, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have known better. And Spirit says, if you just would have waited till it was time, and I've done that myself. I've even done that with my mediumship. I want it, I want it, I want it. And Spirit says, not yet, not yet. And I say, well, I'm gonna go for it anyway. And Spirit says, okay, you have choice and free will. And then I'm flopped on my face. Right. So it's just about trusting that. I I can relate so much to that. I have to. Absolutely. Sometimes my inner voice drowns out anything trying to come through. I never shut up. And I think we are all chuckling at that statement. I think that we have all been there. We have, we're not taught how to quiet our thoughts either, by the way. We're not taught to just say, okay, I'm gonna go sit with that. I'm gonna go and have a seat. I'm gonna zip it. Right. And that's hard. And it does take a little bit of practice, but we can all do it. We can all zip it for a little bit, even if it's just for 30 seconds. And I say that to people all the time. They'll send me a question. I'll say, you go sit with it and tell me, come back to me when you've sat with that. And they come back and they tell me the answer. And I say, how does that feel to you? And they say, so delicious. Learning to zip it can be a hard thing. It does drown things out. Kayla, have you ever gotten in a petty argument with spirit? Argument like we have with our siblings and parents. You have a special relationship, so it always wonder if if you get on each other's nerves. Oh my gosh, Kayla, 100%. Um, yes. Yes, I do. I've learned a lot about that. I don't do it as often anymore, because now I've worked on my alignment and my trust is like off the charts. I trust the spirit dimensions more than I trust the physical world. So, but in past experiences, I've argued, I've bickered, I've gone kicking and screaming. I've had to go back to spirit and say, okay, I'm sorry. I have in the past, I have literally said to spirit, Kayla, I'm not sure if I've shared this in a video or not before. I've literally said to spirit, I'm out. I have, I have, I have done that. Not probably about 15 years ago. I wasn't understanding something. I became very frustrated with spirit. I became very frustrated with myself, and I said, yeah, unplug me. Um, I didn't stay unplugged for very long, but I needed to process some things on my own. And spirit was very much okay with that. It had an eerie feeling for me. I was like, okay, where's everybody? And spirit's like, well, you unplugged. Um, and they gave me some time and some space. I think now, Kayla, I often, if I'm gonna, I don't necessarily argue now, but I will say, are you sure? I will listen again to make sure that I'm getting the information correct. So I will go on. Can you repeat? I have a repeat button with spirit. I just literally hit it and repeat it so that I can hear it and process it again. But yeah, over the years, I have had bickering moments with spirit. And one of those moments, was included a disconnection. Um, yeah, I learned so much from that disconnection, and I probably needed it. Thank you for that question, Kayla. That is a fun one. Um, Shout out to my meditation today. I asked a question to my spirit guides. I don't think I've received an answer yet. Um, Shaz, that does sometimes happen. I've asked spirit 1,000 times to show me something, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. And spirit, or I'll want an answer, because I don't want to go through the hard stuff. And spirit will reassure me that I'm there while I go through some learning, but we don't always get a clear answer. And quite often I do. I would continue to just sit with your question and ask for the guidance, and just ask for the guidance. You might not get that guidance until you're meant to receive it as well, until it's time to either make that decision or lean into where you're going. And the other thing you can ask spirit, Shaz, is ask them to come closer, because they're always with us. Ask them to come closer to you. I talk about the chair always beside me, pulling up that chair. Ask them to come closer and walk beside you during your learning through this. That quite often brings us answers or clarity as well. Oh my gosh, sounds like something my parents used to tell me about listening to my intuition. Angela, spirit was very clear this morning. Listen more, speak less, and to remember things should be easy like a Sunday morning. So lean in and allow. Thanks for reinforcing. You're very welcome, Angela. Allowing is a big thing. I really got to watch the time. Sorry, you guys, if I keep getting distracted. Allowing is a big thing, and being able to listen to that inner voice, because we are connected, and that's where our connection from many of us is that gut feeling, that inner voice, or we receive the information in this way. Depends how you're working with spirit. But being able to quiet down and listen more, absolutely. Let's see. Yesterday was a hard 4 years since my dad got his angel wings. Anything from him? Mandy, literally of the big microphone. Is it like this big, those big, like, I don't know what you call them. You see them at sporting events, but those microphones that you speak into, that's what he's holding, and he's hollering through it. It's really loud. I am proud of you. I'm proud of you. But it's loud, and it's almost like, it's an insistence on receiving and hearing that. Because spirit quite often is quite proud of us, and they know we're doing our best. But the microphone for me is, he really wants you to hear it. He really wants you to feel it. He really wants you to acknowledge it. It's very, very loud. I've literally had to say, can you put that down? I also feel, Mandy, that I keep seeing a construction paver. So, like those asphalt pavers, I don't know what you call them, but and it's in front of you. And instead of pavement, I see light, like the paver, like that big round thing that turns. It's paving light in front of you. Dad's helping paving the way, right? And sometimes, this is a really interesting way of putting it. So, sometimes we don't always see the path clearly in front of us, but he's saying that spirit, not just him, but spirit guides and ancestors are paving this, and it feels very new. Sometimes when we take a new path, we kind of like, our feet are, you touch the hot pavement, we take a step back. It's okay. Take your time on your new path. Take your time. Take your time on your new path. That's got to be relevant information there, Mandy. There's lots of time. There's lots of time to navigate this new path. Okay. I'm going to see if there's any questions about anything that I've chatted about. I do have to get going. Fran, pacing myself to avoid the gong show. Yeah, Fran. I think pacing ourselves is one thing. Sometimes we're going straight on in it. And sometimes it's like head first. I'm going to go through it. I think, Fran, what spirit wants you to hear here is just trust the steps when you're taking them. And I also feel like I've got to really lean into, you will know when it's time to move your feet quickly, and you'll know when it's time to move your feet slow paced. Again, with that listening, again with that trusting, again with that allowing. And sometimes I was having a listen there, friend. Sorry. And sometimes the gong show, we have to go through it, and there's not always a way around it. There's learning through that. So lean in with, I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning. That's amazing. I never thought about it that way, says Peyton. Thank you very much for that. You're very welcome, darling. Shy, I recently came across something very interesting on social media. Sometimes spirit slows us down to make sure you don't run into problems later. Absolutely. And I've talked about that before. I know what the story with my mediumship with, I could only ever book two clients back to back. Spirit knew I wasn't ready, and I kept trying to push against that. Spirit does slow us down, especially when there's more to learn, especially when we need to take more time. And we do have choice and free will, but sometimes when we go too fast and we miss something, we're going to have to circle back and relearn the lesson anyway. Right. So, if we go too fast through it and we didn't learn something, we're circling back again. So quite often when people say, I've already been through this and I'm back here again. And what am I doing wrong? And it's like, you're not doing anything wrong. There's something else for you to learn. And, and we're so time orientated. And spirit says to me all the time, you have lots of time, right? Like, what are you rushing to the end of the journey for? Right. So, what are you rushing to the end? Why are you trying to, it's not a race, right? It's not a race. What are you rushing for? All right, there we go. Forward is forward when we need to go, right? Forward is forward. Oh, the repeat button is good advice. Absolutely. Megaphones. Thank you very much for that. I love the curls. Thank you so much. My curls have been, I don't know, they've been extra curly the last couple days. Worried he won't pass that PFT. Spring, I want you to kind of look at this way. Look at this way. Worry, and it's the word worry for me that I'm gonna jump on. Worry adds a vibration. It's similar to manifesting. If you believe in energy and you believe in manifesting and you believe in in the whole spirit perspective, when we add worry, we're adding something that we don't need to add. Right. So, and I get it. And I get it. There's concern. I get everybody wants in the past, but lean into if this way, Spring. If this is the path that your son is going to take, and this is what's meant for him, it's going to happen. If this is not the path, that's not for his highest good, there's going to be hurdles and roadblocks. Whatever his experiences, surround him instead of the worry. Surround him more. I know that you do this anyway, but so take that worry and change the vibration of it with trust. I'm trusting the pause. I'm trusting the wait. I'm trusting he's where he's meant to be. I'm trusting this right now. And that goes for because most of us will worry at some point or another. And I try to catch it. I try to nip it in the butt, little nip. I'm not going to add worry to that. I'm going to add trust to that. Because worry's not going to help it. Right? Worry is not going to help it. The outcome is going to be the outcome. And we don't want to add to that, right? We don't want to add to that vibration. So just kind of, and I always walk around pinching things in a recipe because that resonates for me. I'm going to add a little bit. I'm going to sprinkle some trust on that. Even though it's hard to trust it, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of trust on that. All right. Hope that helps you guys. I hope this is resonating with you guys. I totally agree with what you said. I feel that way about the journey. Exactly. I love that. Sorry to bother you, Lana. Any idea what 3 coins mean? I would have to lean into that a little bit. I really feel though with the and let's just look at the 3 here in the numerology or in the angel book. Coins are usually a message from spirit. So when you lean into, either there's 3 spirits that are around you, or 3 angel spirit guides around you. Coins are quite often a sign from spirit. I feel it very deep more into the ancestor end of it when I lean in there. I feel like there's like you got 3 ancestors that are trying to guide and change something that's been happening for a long time. So either some kind of repeat family thing or I feel like you're changing that, and they're showing you that they're with you with that. The angel number with 3. Oh, you ready? The ascended masters and ancestors are helping you. Usually this means an ascended master you feel close to, for example, Buddha, Jesus, Kuan Yin, a saint, or some other spiritual figure. Wow. So you are receiving help and guidance. I feel it, and always go with how you feel it. I feel it very ancestral. I feel like, people that have walked here before you, that connect to your family, are with you and helping you with change. The angel book also mentions ascended masters. So whatever ascended master you connect to, whether it be Buddha, or, an archangel, or just spirit in general. Let's do it while I have the book in my hand. Let's do a number for the group. Let's just set our intentions. What do we need to know from the angel numbers today? 847. The angels say that you are going in the right direction with respect to your career and finances. Short and sweet. You're heading in the right direction with your career and finances. Thank you. I always love that. I always love to know I'm going the right direction. Let's lean into the animal spirit guide book. What a message for the group. What do we need to know? Elephant. Make it a point to be of service in some way to the young, elderly, or those less fortunate than yourself. Do not let anything stand in the way of attaining this goal that is an integral to your purpose. You have the determination and the persistence required to overcome the current challenges that you're faced with. Trust your senses, and if something in your life smells bad, take the necessary action to do away with it. Remain loyal to those who are closest to you, in spite of anyone questioning in spite of anyone questioning their integrity. It's a good time to renew your sense of connectedness to the divine. Beautiful messages this morning. Let's see what Monday looks like before I make any promises. I'm sure I'll be on for at least the energy update, but let's see how much time I have. I am on Zoom on Monday, so I will be here. Have a wonderful weekend. As always, I am wishing you love, light, blessings, and have a spirit guided day. Take care.